on up. So for this panel, this is much better. I should have had this earlier. All right, so for this next panel. What's up? You wanna, what's up? Oh, Trevor's picking up too. Let me go ahead and introduce it. All right, we are ready. So for this next panel, we have the Death of Ordinals. Well, first off, it's hosted by Gigi, creator of CTW and Bing Bong. I'm sure you know Gigi. The Goodman, Rare Pepe, Ugly Lines. We got Eric Nelson, head of partnerships at Pizza Ninjas, and Mr. Hype with the Apes on Bitcoin. Please give our panel a warm applause. And also, I encourage you, it's kind of loud in here and hard for them to hear each other. We do have a balcony out back. If you do have a drink, want to get out back. If you want to listen and dial in, grab a seat, focus in, and just give the speakers some respect.
Perfect. So if you're out here and you're speaking too loudly, please go outside and let's talk about the Death of Ordinals. So we're not really going to dive into what are ordinals. If you are here and you've been here all day, I'm just going to assume that you know that part. But before we get started, can you guys give us like 1-2 lines about who you are?
Sure, but I want everyone to shut up a little bit. Make some noise for Ordinals! Woo! Make some noise for inscriptions. That was fucking dumb as shit.
Again.
Make some fucking noise for inscriptions.
Woo!
Make some noise for Ethereum.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, I got your attention.
Oh,
Okay, I'm Theo Goodman. I'm also known as the world's largest midget and Rare Pepe scientist.
I'm Eric Nelson. I handle all the partnerships and collabs for Pizza Ninjas. I love what I do because I get to see all you guys smiling and having a good time and networking and building and creating great relationships. And that's it.
First of all, fantastic event. All right. Mr. Hype, I'm the creator of the first apes on Bitcoin. They are lower inscription, 646, 100 collection. You can check this out.
Hi, I'm Shaban Shaame. I'm founder of Everdreamsoft, producer of Spells of Genesis, which has the first Bitcoin game NFTs ever created.
Awesome. Great. Okay, so we have a really good panel here. So let's dive into it and pick up like the conversation as you wish. But why should anyone care about ordinals right now? We have a full room, which is actually really bullish. But why should anyone care?
Well, people should care because there's liquidity. So basically, traders and artists, they just go to where liquidity is. Markets crave liquidity like humans crave water. And that's basically it. So actually, it doesn't necessarily matter about the tech or what chain that much. It matters just the narrative and the marketing positioning of that, and that there is liquidity. And when there's less liquidity, then you see events like this where it's like, hey, everyone together, Web3, you know? So it just kind of depends on how fucked you're getting by lack of liquidity, how friendly you are to the other chains.
If I look at that, I think ordinals create Bitcoin interesting. There is community in Bitcoin that left it. And one of the reasons is because not much been involved there. And ordinal, like NFT, makes some emotions that collect all of us here together and make, I think, the narrative that we're speaking about. And if we speak about 2024, This year is about onboarding. Each startup need to make the best of onboarding, and Ordinal get the attention from different companies because of that. Because the Bitcoin community start to understand it's something make emotions interesting, and the onboarding side from the business aspect, in my opinion, make it so sustainable. So it's not death.
The, I think what makes important is that Bitcoin is the most resilient blockchain, most decentralized blockchain. So if you think that you could put your assets and metadata in the chain, in the most resilient blockchain, I think the value proposition is a no-brainer. And using that technology is actually probably the best when it comes to preserving data for long term.
So in terms of partnerships for brands, why should brands integrate with brands that support ordinals, right? Like if you're an ordinals project, how is it different from traditional NFT models when pitching partnerships?
I would say that it's not really too different from ETH NFTs. I think the partnerships, it's really about the product and really about what you're building and the belief behind it. So it's really about the tech and the founder and what they're building.
So
The difference is you can market it and say you're on Bitcoin.
bullish.
I mean, that's basically
You accept
the difference.
Bitcoin.
That's it. I mean, that's kind of cool if I'm a brand. You know, it depends on if I want to align myself with that. Maybe I think I want to align myself with Ethereum. It just depends on if that fits to my brand. Probably would be something that is transferred less frequently. Yeah, and then it would work. If it's something that I think people are sending around a lot, probably that's like not the coolest one to choose for my brand.
Don't you think that sometimes Bitcoin should be separate from all the other chains, all the other initiatives that, yeah, you can accept Bitcoin in your business, but why you should do it with a narrative and with Ordinal as part of your business operation?
I mean, one should build the narrative. I mean, I don't think the chain can build a narrative because a chain is not a company. So you could have a company that tries to build a narrative that invites brands to Bitcoin. You could do that, but the chain itself can't build a narrative. Only companies around it can build one.
If I may jump in here, the thing is, for our brands, what we use is preservation. So our stake is that what we're building is there to stay for 20, 50, 100,000 years. And when you build on other chains or the system like IPFS, you are at risk of losing the asset, the digital asset, because people are not incentivized to keep it. So when we have this narrative of preserving our assets for 1,000 years, the Bitcoin blockchain is actually the best case and the best chance for data to be preserved for many, many years.
Interesting. So this brings me to my next question, which is for people out there that are kind of deciding if they want to go the traditional route with traditional NFTs, whether that's on Ethereum, whether that's on Solana, right? It's like what people are most used to versus diving into the black hole that is doing a whole inscription and a collection. Why ordinals? If you're a brand, you're gonna launch something. Why?
So I would say Solana is like a pop music. So it is fashionable for a year or for several months. And building things on Bitcoin blockchain is more like being a rock star. So you're here to mark generation. It's not something to make money in a summer, but it's something that creates value over time and that will inspire a whole movement. So it's just not temporally, it's eternal.
I think that, yeah, Shaban. So each chain, as you'll notice, they kind of have their own aesthetic that are like proliferated on that chain. You know, they're known for some things. And so if you're a brand, you might just be like, okay, well, mine fits more to this chain or ordinals or counterparty or whatever kind of thing. So I think that's probably like one way to look at it, because each one kind of has its, even Tezos has an aesthetic too. It's like fine art shit, you know? So like everyone has kind of like its own aesthetic. So I think the brands might be thinking of that. Honestly, I think what happens with the brands is an NFT consultant whispers in their ear what the best chain is, and they just do it.
Agreed, okay. Yeah, I mean, I do like the use case for ordinals, right? And when you talk about like the inscription itself and maybe not being hosted on AWS, right? There's a few things there. So going into brands, right? Like more of like the quote unquote mass adoption, which we're still far from, but mass adoption for ordinals, what does that look like in your eyes? Like how can we get more people participating and interested in the ecosystem?
I remember when we've been in script apes on Bitcoin, which everyone was speaking about that after the 10,000 inscription number, it's going dead. Nobody will inscript, nobody will buy. And then it become to be, if you buy less than 100,000 inscription, nothing going to happen for you. It's the worst investment ever. And so far we see the growth happening more and more and more. And what's your inscription number right now with Pizza Ninjas?
I think it's 30,000.
30,000. And we see different partnerships that we created with 100,000, 500,000, and it's still involved, right? So we always looking about the short terms of something, and we figure it out, we just judge. And that's what happened last year for me in February. So I just feel that the narrative and also Bitcoin is the North Star of everything. It just pushed forward without what we see right now.
Okay, so it sounds like for you, like maybe removing the focus on the inscription number that you're in, right? And more about like what's the brand itself. Other ways?
I think give up on adversarial marketing positioning. So that means less waterboarding and more onboarding. So what I mean by that is when you do the whole, so we've already seen the Bitcoin maximalist marketing essentially fail over time before our eyes, where they double down on what they think. And the ordinals community has the danger of falling into the same trap with this like very heavy adversarial tendencies where, you know, there's like a clear enemy. And that's a real easy position to marketing if you have like a clear enemy. If we say like Ethereum is the enemy, we're like Ethereum but better. That is easy to market, but it's not sustainable over time. And there's a saturation of how many people you can come on because you're going to burn bridges, and it doesn't go on. So like here, like you could, like a year ago, if you told me the ordinals people are going to be at a conference with the same logo as Ethereum, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty funny. That's not exactly the same tone you have on Twitter, right? So now it's like you're in the same bed as shitcoins right here at this conference, which on one way, that's going to onboard more people. So there's going to have to be some kind of compromise in this kind of like Puritanism ideology that's similar to how the maximalists look.
Yeah, the hard stuff you were saying about burning bridges is if we want to onboard people, we need something that talks to people. And the crypto has waves. So you have like a lot of speculation for a certain time, it excites people, then they move to something else. And then people who are actually building real thing, they are staying and they're continuously building. So focusing on the next like fire is not the good thing. We really need to build something that is meaningful and that will stay over time and that will onboard the future generation of users.
And I'd also like to add, I think building each other up instead of tearing each other down and working together. And, you know, it's really easy to see a lot of people like launching a project and, you know, sometimes the FUD is valid, but sometimes it's just competition and it's not so much about the product. So I think just focusing on supporting each other, getting the word out, and yeah.
So it sounds like in a way like removing the focus about where you're building, but more about building something that is fun, inviting, that people want to be part of, right? Awesome. And then, okay, so they mentioned something that was really important, which is attention. Web3 is an attention economy game. If you don't have attention, you're kind of missing out on the degens, right? Like degens want whatever is the shiniest object, and right now it's meme coins. Meme coins is the meme coin cycle. A lot of people don't like it. It is. And we see the runes play. So I want to know, like, what do we think is going to happen with the runes? Or that's going to be the next, like, hottest meme coin in the timeline?
I kind of think they might just turn into like what counterparty assets are, just like a divisible NFT. You know, it's like a fungible NFT basically. So, you know, like because you can inscript the picture. And what we saw, what happened was already like some of the early ones, they did that with punks. So they started doing rune punks over and over, and like each one was slightly different. And that's not really the same concept as doing a meme coin. It's more just like a fungible NFT version. So instead of doing, what do you call it? Mother, father, whatever bullshit, recursion, you just do a rune. And it's actually kind of cleaner in a way to make a fungible token or whatever. So I think that's what I see a good, easy use case for runes. As far as like trading runes like meme coins could happen, already is happening some, but I don't know. I don't see it right away, to be honest.
And about meme coins, I'm afraid to say that it might damage ordinals, just like NFT speculation damaged Ethereum in 2021, because people are there for quick cash and flipping, and then
Which is not quick on ordinals.
So if we need to preserve from that, of course, like expression, meme coins, it's interesting, but we need to think of what's the real value created. And I know Theo very well. He's into Rare Pepe for a long time. And this is a meme, definitely, but it has solid fundamentals. So building on solid fundamentals, whether it's a meme or not, is the key to strive.
I would just say that I was, in your opinion, before we start to speak about 8chain and 8coin, and we do think that we should bring stage to meme coins as it's part of the culture that coming with crypto. And it may happen with runes as well, but I still don't understand how it can be involved with IRL companies and what we do want to achieve with a mass adoption.
I think that also it would pay everyone some dividends to just look at history, because like you had the pre-sale runes. Well, it's just basically the same as pre-sale ICO, except instead of someone promising some weird utility token that for blockchain something, it's just like for a meme coin. So it's not a whole lot different, and a lot of that failed and like fucked things up. I'm not saying all of them are or will, but like if you just like look at history, how these things happen, like a lot of it is just repeating every cycle in like a slightly different form. So everyone, you know, just kind of like looking what's happened in the past, and it sounds so stereotypical, but to like just look at what happened to those and be wary, it probably will happen again. I don't know.
Nice. So I think that's really interesting, because as much as people want to trade, I think in the Bitcoin ecosystem, the just like transaction speed is really not there, right? Which ends up being kind of an expectation they have from other chains coming into Bitcoin with a wrong expectation, and with the focus on quick profits, quick flips, which is really the case. So I think we're almost at time, but I want to start wrapping up the panel with like, give me your craziest take of what do you think we'll see this year for ordinals. I wanna get everyone excited.
My prediction is Adidas will join to Ordinal. Adidas will join to Ordinal.
Craziest prediction. Jesus. I'm going to release a collection on ordinals, ugly lines, and in each one will be embedded a counterparty passphrase in each ugly line. And so we'll have the first like cross-pollination of counterparty ordinals. And that'll be the craziest shit anyone has seen.
Craziest prediction, Luke Jr. will mint some ordinals.
I want Luke to mint ordinal. We should all like tweet Luke to do like
Right
an ordinal
now.
collection right now. That would be awesome.
Craziest prediction for ordinals. Trevor Owens will throw an ordinals event at the White House.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Please, 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 if you're here, give a follow to every single one of today's panelists, and can we give them a huge round of applause? Thank you for being here.
Thank you.